This week on Hermitcraft.
The important thing is...
Jump.
You didn't even jump.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft RECAP. My name is Pixel Riffs, our writer is LoyXP, and if the video title and the 2 times I've said it didn't make this clear, this is Hermitcraft. You know, the server where people move an entire castle because they didn't like where it was the first time. We wouldn't have them any other way, the Mad Lads. This week also sees the return of Aber caving, the conclusion of Teg, an explosive business meeting, and for some reason, really big cookies. So let's give you the recipe for all of the above by looking at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with Hypnotizd, just because we can't wait to talk about this weird bug he triggered. Somehow him logging off the server exactly right caused the scaffolding he was standing on to glitch out and allowed him to, believe it or not, walk on air by placing scaffold in the empty space in front of him.
I tried placing a block next to it at the request of one of the people in my live stream, and it just went away, so...
Getting stick bugged lol didn't stop him from decorating the insides of his anomalous Amanita, though the spread of tiny mushrooms got interrupted when more or less the whole server decided to go Aber caving. His Aber caving got interrupted as well, costing him and Zombie Cleo quite a few ores in the process.
Zombie Cleo, what did your team get?
3.
Okay.
Luckily it wasn't Joe Hills on the same team with her, as it seems Cleo would have thrown him into lava herself. You see, sharing the base and all its basements, Cleo and Joe for a while now have been locked into quiet combat on the matter of their dripstone farm's design.
And Joe has used the dripstone in the temporary build. And there was also a bed here. Guess what happened? I lost a bed, Joe loses a bed. It's fine.
Whether that particular hatchet has now been buried depends entirely on how Cleo feels about it being converted into an eldritch beaver. Or that's how Joe sees it, and now we can't unsee it.
Ow. That is definitely worse, Scar.
This mostly came up because Scar came over trying to trick Joe into losing his no-wings streak, which by our estimation is the second highest on the server by now. The only thing bigger is his streak of generosity, bringing Scar some birthday copper and helping Corrales out with a new pair of shiny booties. What he gets in exchange is a server constantly keeping him on his toes.
Ah! Okay, he got me. You got me that time.
With Joe's butt lightly singed, Cleo reinforces the effect and builds a small leather tannery on the outskirts of the castle to feed into the medieval village idea. They might wake up tomorrow to find it moved several blocks to the left. It seems to be a trend with Pearlescent Moon's builds, at least, as she and Corrales reveal that the vanishing of the castle last week was actually a translocation to the back half of B-Dubs' mountain, no less.
Not by wrong. We just got it in a wrong location.
Did you just about to say wrong direction? Are you saying we should rotate this 90 degrees? Look, if you're going to ask me to rotate or relocate, I might have to redecide this partnership.
No.
It's a big move for the duo, only punctuated by a few duels breaking out and Mumbo stepping in to arbitrate. But once it's settled into its new location on a freshly designed overhang, they give the castle a name, and use it as an excuse to con B-Dubs out of yet more clocks.
I'm thinking Cogsworth Manor. What do you reckon? Cogsworth Manor? And I'm going to make it nice and pretty with a couple of lines, and it's fine.
Pearl isn't done with the moves yet, meeting up with Cubfan to discuss the removal of the discount beacon, and she gets a chill new roommate in the form of Evil Azuma's Shivering Strider. But when his lava bath mysteriously disappears, Pearl gets to the root of the problem and investigates Strider Coin. VintageBeef laughs in the face of Derp Coin.
And how quickly you forgot I still have an IOU.
Oh.
And then buys a lot of it, although he doesn't seem to purchase anything with the coins themselves yet, perhaps waiting to see where the market goes. Or maybe he's just hoping to get rich enough on crypto that he'll finally get to go to space. The launch thrusters added to the ship should help with that, and he might be feeling more inclined to leave the planet after getting a second place in Aber caving.
That's okay. I'm a pro. I've invented this game.
Yeah. You're like, you know what? I got this under control. I literally cannot find a cave.
XBcrafted fares no better in the caving contest, but his base is coming along in leaps and bounds. Having hired Gemini to plant some custom trees on the upper garden level inside the dome, he returns to the underdome to set up some filtered storage connected via tunnels under the moat, so you can see the axolotls gleefully murdering the glow squid as you walk in to grab some more deep slate.
I have very little deep slate left. I know. I've used a lot.
But the whole ABBA caving deal we keep mentioning involved 4 teams of 2, Cleo and Hypno, iJevin and VintageBeef, XBcrafted and Corrales, and finally Gemini and False Symmetry, who promptly took home the win. Sorry, we never said the show isn't 80% spoilers and 20% sass. It wouldn't be the first time that False found herself literally groundbreaking, seeing as how her latest build consists of exactly that. The giant eagle she built a couple of weeks back really did rip out a chunk of the land, and False is now the proud owner of a floating island ripe to build on.
So this is what it looks like. Oh, it looks nice.
As for Gemini, the whole forest won't be enough for her plans because her plan pretty much is the forest. Having noticed that cottagecore works much better with custom trees surrounding it, Gem plants the last of her magic video editing saplings and swears to keep it going. But first, she expands the Woodland Palace with a new side tower that's almost as big as the rest of the palace, cheered on by an especially screamy goat that just kind of walked in on her.
Yeah, I think you're important. I think that you're important. I'm gonna get you back to your father, don't you worry. I'm sure he misses you. You gotta go on a boat, though.
The goat turns out to be Doc M's missing pet, so the goat child is quickly scooped up by Rendog and returns to the goat father for a touching goat reunion.
Although...
Thank you. He's been enjoying his time.
Yeah, looks like he's put on a bit of weight, Jimmy. You've been feeding him cookies and all sorts of things.
He loves cake. He loves it. What can I say? I can't resist that face.
Doc and Ren have a lot on their plates, and not just from spending every episode around the barbecue pit. They bury a time capsule to mark the official launch of Octagon as a shopping empire, and Ren has the diamonds from the log shop to prove it. But there's one piece of business still on the table. The latest mystery book directs them to some distant coordinates with a cryptic message that encourages them to mix the old and the new. So they return to Gemini base, grab Pearlescent Moon 2, and fly out to a mysterious shrine on a mysterious mushroom island.
Ren!
Bro, your head goosing.
Am I leading the pack now?
The head goose is not at the head.
All right,
Well,
hold on.
now Gem is the head goose.
Hold on. I'm running out of goose
We're all
juice, my dudes.
participating.
The mystery only deepens as they make their way through a dungeon, solving a series of puzzles in teams of 2, and end up in a room that dumps lava on their guests. And though they're rewarded with some netherite ingots and another book to decode, they are left with more questions than answers.
Of the dog are still in.
Whoa.
I didn't put my wings on. I'm an idiot.
Doc M isn't done baffling his audience yet, because his next task is to set up a shelf-stable wither cage. The first one expires a little prematurely when the wither decides to wreck the place, but under the watchful eyes of the Psycraft crew via Discord, Doc manages to rebuild it, redirecting 2 withers' attacks harmlessly into a self-rebuilding wall, where they can be put to use in future wherever blocks may need breaking.
Both withers are perfectly aligned. Brought a new villager over, fixed freaking everything.
The wider Xisumavoid lore goes deeper as well, when a cutscene reminds us that we can thank Evil Xisuma for iJevin being green now. The 2 of them meet up for a reunion and agree to go into the undying business together. Hence we see iJevin construct a raid farm shortly after.
So in terms of a single raid, which took us about a minute and a half to do, we got 45 emeralds, 8 banners, 6 skulls, 3 crossbows, gunpowder, 5 totems of undying, axes and bottles and potions. No hopper, that's mine.
It's still a mystery how the plentiful drops will factor into whatever Evil Azuma's plans are, but he's seen brainwashing regular Xisuma as well, and that probably isn't good. Still, if it means he'll do more stuff like vanilla chain redstone, we're all for it.
That sets off a contraption like this, so that a signal can make its way over to the other side and then automatically reset itself.
Either way, there's a greater evil X has to face this week, and that is villagers. The system for automated sorting of the testificates X was trying to put together appears to resist at every step, and that's not helped by the traders already being infamous for how annoying they can be. Xisuma is taking it well.
I am in agony right now.
In a similar fashion, we find Zedaf stuck in a Karis hell of his own making. Trying to bridge the gap between a tiny baby trader and a functioning exploitable adult, Zed couldn't come up with anything less destructive than a circular minecart track that keeps the incoming children spinning until they finally grow up.
Not trigger it too. What about me? Am I considered a baby? I'm considered a baby.
The system is at least automatic, but it only really works as long as the minecarts keep moving. So keep moving they shall, and in a cruel twist of fate, it's the babies that are being spun like a record right round. Another thing that has thrown everyone for a loop is the TEG, which has reached its conclusion this week. Last we saw it, the Dragon Egg of Fate was in Cubfan's possession, and it turns out he hid it in a custom-built puzzle room that relied on a few quirks of pressure plates and player movements to work. Fortunately, the 2 hints he left with it proved far too transparent, and the TEG went right back to Gemini Tay in no time. Gem put on her own trail of trials, and Cub went right back in, cheered on by Pearlescent Moon and also Gem, because she was curious.
The Pearl was flicking levers all over the place, and it just worked.
It just worked. That's all I gotta do. I gotta flick the levers. Thank you.
Because if you didn't do that, Cub wouldn't have been able to do this.
The grand finale takes place at another puzzle room Cub installed, this time filled with red herrings and based on a behaviour no one but the Minecraft wiki could figure out. And though Gemini Tay, False Symmetry and Grian all arrived in the final hour of the competition, none of them guessed to shoot an arrow at the exact border of a honey block so it goes through and sinks into a pressure plate that makes the final egg door open. So after 10 weeks of non-stop keep away, Cubfan becomes the official winner of the TEG event and walks away with an extra 162 diamonds.
Honey is the key.
You're a genius. You're actually a genius.
There you go.
I don't think I would have got that even after hours of looking, to be fair.
No, that's
well done, Cub. Do you want to come and claim your diamond prize? You don't get to keep the egg. The egg's still mine.
Yep.
Now free from having to track anyone's points, Grian decides to see if his Botum buddies can bring up any good ones, and calls a meeting in an unusual spot. See, there are no bad ideas, but if you happen to have any, your friends will throw an egg at the end crystal you're standing by. But despite having to walk on eggshells, Pearl, Scar, Grian and Impulse successfully appoint each other valuable roles within the community, and while they're at it, they establish their primary objective for the foreseeable future, making Botum Town into the new shopping district.
There's an awful lot of finer details that are going to have to come in down the line, but for now, I want to get the main buildings done.
It does help that Grian himself finally starts on Wizard Street, working title, and builds up the facades reaching into the Hollow Mountain, like a whimsical geode the size of a cliff.
I am serious. Can we make Mumbo? I think it's hilarious that he's not here and he's been made CEO of the company. And, hear me out, he is the only one with a suit.
Oh, you got me on that one.
We reached out to the CEO of Botum Incorporated for some insight into why he was elected, but he was unavailable for comment because... Like all good vigilante CEOs, Mumbo now has a base hidden behind a waterfall, which we're beginning to think was the whole reason he wanted a big old mountain to begin with. It certainly wasn't for the mob spawns, because he does his best to get rid of those, deciding the best approach is to just YOLO it.
Still not killed anything? Oh gosh, this seems deadly. Oh gosh.
Once it's at least mildly safe back there, he sets up aerial tripwires to open the door as he flies in via Elytra, and plans a storage system large enough to contain the planets. It's a sentiment shared by Impulse SV, who isn't even storing stuff yet and already he needs a bigger storage room, so he reassigns that room to a larger space in the factory build and does just a little bit of redstone to demonstrate how the modules will work. It ends up being the most expensive room in the factory, but comes nowhere near the emotional cost of sacrificing those 3 llamas in the name of expanding the Botum hole. After the management throws an egg at the idea of him being in charge of happiness, Impulse volunteers to be the head of industry at Botum Inc., and considering he actually managed to sell Glow Lichen at this point, we think he's got a promising future.
Just like so many of you guys, again, helping me hit that 1 million mark here on YouTube. I appreciate you all.
Iskal takes one look at his storage and decides it needs a lot more coal. Returning from the caves with 3 stacks of coal blocks and, yes, some giant cookies, he decides it's time to start making this house a home. And by house, we mean the 200-meter high cliffs he and Etho have been perching atop, inside, around and through for the season so far. Terraforming the edges of the Savannah Peaks, he sets up a ruin directly above their storage room, converts a nearby corner into a bedroom, which is almost immediately claimed by a farmer.
Thank you, James, for solving all my food issues forever.
Then decides against the ruins after all and installs a cargo elephant instead. Etho's work is much more grounded and focused on a different quadruped as he begins work on the technical aspects of the horse race course he conceived with BOO. Pausing only to cash in a deal with Doc M and get a few shulker shells, he adds a bunch of skill-based elements to the course which even the odds for those with slower horses. He's only halfway done, but already there are targets to shoot for shortcuts, molehills, water traps, drip leaf tunnels, and a chance to buff or nerf your horse or your opponents through speed and slowness arrows. It's one Italian plumber away from being Mario Horse.
The idea is these will be up in the air, and as we go by we can shoot them with our crossbow. And it'll drop an item, a random item from the inventory here. And then I think we'll also have like the question blocks in Mario Kart where you get power-ups.
And finally there's BOO, who pays a visit to Tango's new storage system. It doesn't have any warped nylium, and he has a few notes about its location.
Fifi's bathroom?
That's left to the imagination of you and the viewers.
Because it is lined up kind of...
Oh yeah. It's, we encourage people to not look up.
After roughing up a swaggin in the nether, buying some prismarine from Iskall, and being convinced to give away yet more clocks, B-Dubs reveals what the nylium is for. His half of the deal is to work on the aesthetics of the racecourse, and his vision for the project is to keep it simple.
So let's pick some of the weirdest blocks in the game, shall we? For the build palette.
Naturally, the castle build is only a few jump cuts away, by which point he's had a little more practice at the mechanics of the track, so keep an eye out for him in the rearview mirror, presuming you've been able to breed a horse that has one. And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is Pixelriffs. But to prove that he's a writer, not a runner, we invite you to check out this video of LoyXP and his friends playing Total Wipeout in Minecraft, and cheating at it pretty shamelessly, actually. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.